Well, hello there, and this one is called Remaining in Residence. So for me, this visit, my third, is very different from the others. And it's all to do with this subject of the film, which is remaining in residence. Now, there's something that I've been working with for a very long time called the Ling Chi Ching. It's a classic Chinese oracle. The I Ching is much more well known, is much more ancient, but the Ling Chi Ching is much more contemporary. It's only been around for 1,200 years, which by Chinese standards is relatively new. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually taking you on a tour, only this time there's a difference, and the difference really is me, because what I'm choosing to do is I'm choosing to live much more the way people here actually live, which is to spend the vast majority of my time remaining in residence, being in the actual place in which I live. My natural tendency is to go out every single day, and I've actually had entire days when I haven't gone out, and to be honest, it feels very strange and somewhat alien, but it's something I'm deliberately exploring. And because I've been remaining in residence, there's been things I've been doing which I haven't done before. So we have this workshop set up, and I've been making things out of wood, which I've really enjoyed doing. And although I feel he did the lion's share of the work effectively, Armours and I did have some kind of a co-creation on this space, which is a new balcony, which you've seen before, but there's so much has been added to it since the first time that I showed you around. And this is all laid out according to Feng Shui principles. I'm making a film about that, which I will let you see very soon. So here's the thing about remaining in residence. It's a different thing, different way of life. And so many people, when they come to India, what they do is they have this desire to cram as many experiences into their lives as is humanly possible, and to travel to as many different places. And that's quite a common thing, I suppose. In a sense, for me, that is how I define what being a tourist is. Being a tourist means you're on tour. You're touring around the locality. Makes perfect sense if you've never been to somewhere before, if you've got limited period of time. You want to see as much as possible. Well, because this is my third visit, and I don't imagine it's going to be my last, I have a very different attitude, and it's taken a while to get to the attitude. So my attitude now is very much based upon being here, and I'm finding that as I'm being here and having, we'll put it this way, this is the first time I've ever actually been here for like almost 2 weeks without having gone off and done a major trip anywhere at all. In fact, all I've done is I've gone off walking so far. So that's been the entire limit of all my experience outside of this quite extraordinary apartment, is to just go off walking. And I do that most days. But what I'm noticing as I am remaining in residence is changing my attitude towards what I'm here for. There's one of those beautiful birds of prey. We managed to catch it just at the right moment. That was lovely. So remaining in residence it's got a lot to do with slowing down. And slowing down is something that I have resisted for most of my life, I'll be quite honest with you. But I find one of the gifts of slowing down is it does open us up us up much more to our spiritual life. And really, what I'm beginning to see is that there's two things really. One is my own spiritual journey, and the other is being in service to others. And it was a great pleasure just a couple of days ago to be able to do an astrology reading for a guy who's going through some difficult challenges to do with his relationship with his parents, really. Something a lot of us go through at different times. And it was a lovely thing to be able to do, to be in service to the guy and take him through his birth chart and come up with a few suggestions for things that he might want to take on. Gopal's looking very contemplative this morning. So I am so grateful to have reached this point that I actually don't have this burning desire to go somewhere, to be elsewhere. And in fact I feel a wonderful sense of, well, for me the word is actually, it's a strange thing, there's a lot of freedom for me in not rushing around, and it also actually feels like an achievement, because for so much of my life I was carrying so much severe trauma, and when one is carrying a lot of severe trauma, a natural thing to want to do is to be on the move, to keep moving, and particularly to keep moving quickly. It really makes a lot of sense that this is a way to handle the challenge of the unresolved traumas. And as most of you who know, who've been watching my films on a regular basis, I have devoted most of the last 3 years, to be honest, to, there goes another beautiful bird of prey, most of the last 3 years to this inner journey whereby all the skeletons in the closet have been dragged out, dust off, given a damn good polish, examined, worked with, come to an accommodation with, appreciated, felt gratitude towards, and a feeling of love. And that, I feel, is one of our essential facets of our human journey. There comes a time that all the stuff that hasn't been looked at needs to be looked at. And for me, the most stark example of why it's such a good thing to do is what my mum never did. My mum never dealt with her stuff. She never had any form of therapy or inner life work at all. She was always focused on the outside, which eventually left her into a place where she had absolutely no resources and no interest in anything, because she was totally unwilling to look within. That was the issue. So because she was unwilling to look within, what happened to her, she actually had the most severe series of experiences with two really awful illnesses, which forced her to literally go through this inner process and a huge amount of pain and anguish, and to literally melt and dissolve away all the traumas. And she did that literally by losing body mass over a period of just over 2 years, really. So that was a very stark warning to me, and that the lesson I got from that is, if you don't deal with your stuff, then your stuff deals with you. So deal with your stuff. So that's what I've been doing for so much of the last 3 years. I never thought it'd take even one, but it really was necessary. And so I feel that the reward I've got at the other end of this really long and at times very painstakingly journey is actually to be able to sit, to do my mantras, to be in a much more confined space than I'm used to, which actually is huge from the point of view of many people's perspectives. I realize I'm incredibly blessed every moment that I'm being here, even if I'm doing nothing. If all I'm doing is lying down, I am so incredibly blessed, because I'm experiencing this fantastic contrast between the activity and the busyness of what's going on outside there, and the peace, the harmony, the beauty, and the sense of space that is what we have inside. So I am so grateful to Ahmed, to Reshma, to Ryan, the team, the animals, the plants, the apartment block Godredge, Platinum, the neighbouring apartment block Godredge Woodsman, to this beautiful Parsi burial ground, which is the reason why that lovely array of trees is there. For the skyline, for the sun, which I can't quite show you before I would end up falling out over the balcony, and for the 13 million people in all their occupations and their movements. And leaving you with the sight of these flowers and this bougainvillea, what I say to you is I say to you, all the love to you. And I'm always interested in hearing your comments. Most welcome to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.